We've been reporting here regularly on the fraudulent voter registration efforts that are under investigation. Those efforts led by Acorn, the radical left-wing activist group with ties to Senator Obama, is being investigated in states all across the country. Acorn describes itself as an advocate of low and moderate income people. The group has 400,000 members in 40 states. They claim they're nonpartisan. The 2008 budget for Acorn, by the way, and its subsidiaries is estimated to reach $110 million. That estimate by Acorn's founder, former chief organizer, William Rathke. Acorn isn't required, by the way, to disclose its contributors, but taxpayer dollars make up a significant share of its funding. Acorn's tax-exempt housing group is required to release its financial information, according to a study by the Nonpartisan Consumer Rights League. The Acorn Housing Corporation receiving more than 40% of its funding from your tax dollars. The study alleges that Acorn failed to maintain a proper distinction between funding for its housing work and its aggressive political activities, which could constitute an illegal use of taxpayer money and an unlikely investigation. Well, Acorn's tactics continue to test the voter registration system, and among the names on a recent Acorn voter registration form in Florida, well, none other, of course, than Mickey Mouse. But election officials noticed the form and they tossed it out. It's just the latest incident pointing to a critical problem with voter registration drives being conducted by Acorn. Thousands of fraudulent voter registration forms that threaten the very integrity of this election. Bill Tucker has our report.
Officials from Acorn defend their voter registration drives, despite the thousands of fraudulent registration forms submitted. They point out they've registered some 1.3 million legitimate voters. Acorn officials say most of the fraudulent registration forms that have been found were flagged by Acorn workers who identified the boards of elections where the problems existed. The officials also say there's a very big difference between voter registration fraud and voter fraud.
Not only has there never been a conviction of voter fraud in relating to these cases, there hasn't been an indictment of voter fraud connected with these cases.
However, the Board of Election in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, has referred one case of possible attempted voter fraud to the local prosecutor for investigation. The man registered multiple times at different addresses through Acorn. Acorn calls the attacks on its voter registration drives politically motivated. Conservative critics say no. The problem is fraudulent registrations keep occurring.
This is not a one-time deal. This happens year after year after year. These are people who work for Acorn. If a company was accused of doing this kind of thing and their employees were continually violating the law year in and year out, there'd be hell to pay.
One group, which describes itself as liberal and made up of current and former Acorn organizers, say it's time for change.
Beyond that, Acorn will not address anything, take responsibility for anything. We're hoping they're going to look another way and maybe say, okay, yeah, we should change the way we operate, but I don't see it happening.
Acorn's troubles have apparently led Obama to clarify his relationship with the group. On the campaign website funded by Obama, fightthesmears.com, he has changed the declaration from one that he never was an Acorn trainer or worked with him in any capacity to say that he was never hired to work as a trainer or organizer. The campaign now admits Obama did work on 2 occasions as a volunteer trainer in the late 1990s. And Lou, we talked to the campaign late today, and they said the change was made to be more precise, in their words.
Accurate, I think, is the other word.
That would be another way to do that, yes.
And they spent, we've got the final number, it's over $800,000 in the primary.
$832,000, right.
And Ardra Griffin reporting that in one meeting, he was at this nonpartisan group, more than half of the folks, or at least half of the folks, had on Obama buttons. This nonpartisan claim is sort of, it's sort of amusing, isn't it?
The critics would say, we challenge you to find a Republican that this group has ever supported for election anywhere, and you won't find them.
And I wonder, do the Republicans have a group like this? I mean, they've got 400,000 what they call families in, 100 cities and 40 states across the country. I'd say the Republicans have got a little issue here with Acorn, a little problem.
Well, a lot of people call Acorn unique, saying there really isn't another organization like this, structured like this anywhere else.
Well, it's going to make, it's going to add to the interesting aspects of this election day for the Republican National Committee. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Up next.